continue to take pride and learn from Asa Mahan's leadership today. Years of commitment to harnessing the power of creativity, ingenuity, community, and academic excellence.
I believe that if you get your degree here, the world is going to feel like it's shrinking.
Hello and welcome inside Nicolay Field as we prepare for Game 3 of the series between Michigan and Adrian College Club Baseball. My name is Sean Whitmer and joined in the booth with Remington
Gilniak.
Messed up the last name there, so let him say it himself. You were here for Game 2 yesterday. Michigan comes in today. They've already won the series. They're looking to go for the sweep. Coming off that Game 2, seeing all the animosity we've seen late, what do you expect going into this one?
Well, I mean, you can almost feel the tension inside this ballpark today. Very different from normal Game 3s. Obviously, a lot of extracurriculars at the end of the game, so a little bit of bad blood between these teams, but home plate meeting looked fairly calm. Both players or every player on both teams looks pretty calm going into this one, so I don't expect to see that again. Should be a great Game 3 here.
That's what we're hoping for. Now, looking at some of the starting lineups here, of course, we're going to start with Adrian pitching and Michigan on offense. So what do you got going forward into this first inning?
So looking at the lineup for the Wolverines, it's going to go Cole Allen, Robert Shilp, Jeremy Sachs, Donovan Self, Jake Martin, Luke Deskings, Charlie Hartman, Cole Arnett, and Jackson Angles rounding it out. And pitching for the Bulldogs today is going to be Michael Hale, the freshman left-hander.
Yeah, getting the freshman, I talked to him yesterday, and he said it was going to be his fifth time seeing some action between fall and spring. First time in the spring that he's getting the nod, as he's going to deliver the first pitch of the game. And that's going to be a high sky fly ball camping underneath it in center field. For the routine out is going to be Tyler Hall for the Bulldogs.
Now, that may look like a very easy grab here, but these skies are pure gray and white, and even in normal conditions, it's tough to catch a fly ball at the nick. So great job by Hall there to get under it right away and squeeze it.
Yeah, he did a great job camping on that one. His second pitch of the day. And if he's throwing every pitch for contact, he could potentially keep his pitch count low,
And pitch count's going to be a big thing for the Bulldogs today. Yesterday across 2 games, over 17 innings of baseball, threw 319 pitches among 5 pitchers. So pitching depth is going to be key today. And sounds like we're going to have a bullpen by committee type of day whenever Hale's day is done, but they're hoping to get a lot of length out of him today.
Yeah, one of the pitchers that didn't play at all in those 2 games yesterday really kept him fresh for today, as that's going to be the first pitch not swung at. So, looked like that's going to be a ball. As the second one delivered, and it's going to be knocked easily over to second base for the routine throw out. That's mind you, that is going to be Tyler Perrin throwing it over to Luke Pope for the second out of the inning.
That was a good pitch by Hale there. You know, count even up at 1-1. You're trying to get ahead there. Kind of looked like the 2-seam fastball on the outside corner. Simply got Shilp to kind of extend the arms and hit that one weakly over to Perrin at second.
Interesting enough, it looked like Sachs wasn't ready to go. Might have forgot he was the 3-hole and was sitting in there, as it's going to be lefty-lefty here. Hale with the delivery. It's going to be outside and low. Interesting to see if Hale's going to keep pitching for contact, as he's done through the first 2 batters. Another outside. That's going to be called strike. It looked outside to me.
Little generous there in the first inning. It's a little chilly. On a Sunday afternoon, might want to get home.
Delivering this one, and that's going to be a swinging strike. So 2-1 count.
Sharp bender there from Hale. Started at the knees, simply fell off the table. Sachs couldn't read it early enough. Lunged down front, swung over top of it.
Hale trying to get out with this pitch right here. It's going to be knocked right back to him. Easy flip to first. That's 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. So Hale stays clean. And all 3 of his pitches there in that first inning ended up being outs by putouts, not strikeouts. So going to prepare for the bottom half of the first. Do you have anything going into the bottom half?
I can give you the Bulldog lineup as we get going here. It's going to be Tyler Hall, Jesse Leyva, Connor Davies, Corwin Allen, Andrew Walker, Luke Pope, Damon Harris, Carson Meister, and Ty Perrin rounding it out.
Yeah, and looking at yesterday, like you said, a lot of animosity. But this is a lot of players that didn't play yesterday as far as significant time. I know everyone basically got to see some action because it's, you're playing 2 games, doubleheader, and you play 17 total innings across those 2 games. On the mound for the Wolverines is going to be Mitchell Fuchs as he's warming up, getting everything ready to roll.
While we have a minute here, we're going to give you the defensive alignment for the Wolverines today. In the outfield from left to right is Cole Allen, Charlie Hartman, and Jackson Angles. In the infield, going left to right, is going to be Donovan Self and Robert Shilp on the left side. And over on the right side is going to be Cole Arnett and Jeremy Sachs. Doing the catching today is going to be number 39, Jake Martin. And, of course, doing the pitching today, Mitchell Fuchs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Martin took over in Game 2 when blanking on his name, but the catcher
that would have been
for the
Griffin Party.
Wolverines- Yeah, Griffin Party went down after the collision that caused all the animosity, and he goes down. Martin comes in. So with Martin playing the final, 4 outs for the Wolverines. I think he got the last out for them in the 9th, and then he got the 3 outs in the 10th. Be interesting to see how the Wolverines are going to handle everything, as coming into this series, people expected 3 blowouts. Bulldogs took them to extras yesterday in Game 2 with a rain delay, so you were sitting up here for about 6 hours or so just waiting for the game to continue on.
I know that score says 13-7, but it was Bulldogs rally late. Every time the Wolverines would put up a couple runs, the Bulldogs would come right back. So hoping to see the offense keep that up today.
As Hall takes the first one, little slapper right to second base. That's going to be an easy out, going 4-3.
Now Hall as the lefty. It's a lefty-lefty matchup today. Fuchs showcasing a pretty good slider changeup combo in warm-ups. Looked like he went with the fastball there. Hall just out in front and just simply rolls it over to second base.
Coming up now is Jesse Leyva. Looks like he's rocking the number 17. We had him at 21 on our roster, so got to make the adjustment there.
2 pitches, 2 swings from the Bulldogs here already. A lot of passive at bats yesterday. I talked about it a bit, but it's good to see early on in this one, Bulldogs swing the bats.
Yeah, and that's exactly how the Wolverines started their top of the first. This time is called. Be interesting to see who can take advantage of the, nicer weather than yesterday, as Leyva will slap one over to second. Little deja vu as it's another 4-3 put out. Coming up now is the right fielder Connor Davies for the Bulldogs. Another lefty on lefty at bat here.
Interestingly enough, Davies in the sunglasses. You know, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm not seeing too much sun out there, so curious to see why that decision was made. I'm sure he has his reasons.
Yeah, well, you never know. The sun might peek out in the middle of one of his at-bats, and he just wants to stay prepared, as that one's going to be a strike, so 1-1 count. Fuchs delivers. It's another one in the ground. Martin doing a good job blocking. Right now, not too important as no one's on, but got to stay in the flow of the game.
As a catcher, man, I'm staying on one knee. I'm just throwing a glove at it and hope I knock it down.
Yeah, try to save those knees a little bit for when people are on base.
We got 9 innings of baseball today. I'm not wasting any additional energy than what I have to.
Not only that, letting one skip past you to the backstop, not necessarily a bad thing. Let you catch your breath a little bit. As that one will go almost right into our laps up here if we didn't have that net.
Oh, I had it. The hand was up. I would have caught it.
So 3 pitches into the ground here for this third batter that Fuchs has faced. That one looked particularly inside, so not sure if it crossed the plate. So we're going to go to a quick break and come back for the top of the second. Don't go anywhere.
Bulldog fans, welcome to the home of Adrian College Athletics, brought to you by Adrian College Television. Follow us on social media to be connected to the latest broadcasts, news, highlights, and more. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. ACTV's social media handle is at Adrian College TV on all platforms. Thank you to all of our fans who tune in to support us at ACTV.
Hello and welcome back. Hale warming up, getting ready for his second inning of work.
Oh, really liked what we saw at Hale there in the first inning. Simply pitching to contact, filling the zone, only an 8-pitch first inning. And we talked about length. If Hale's able to go 8 pitches every inning, it's going to be an easy, complete game for him. He'll give us a Maddox, and the Bulldogs are going to save some pitching.
Like to see him go complete game. It'd be nice after going through as many pitchers as they went through 2 games yesterday. If Hale can just give them all 9, make life a little bit easier. You have to imagine that's what he's hoping for as well.
I've never met a pitcher who didn't want to go all 9, so I have to imagine he's going to keep pounding the zone here, especially, as we get down in the lineup, maybe the hitter's not as strong, just trying to pitch to contact.
As Self awaits the first, and that's going to be inside. Called ball. Second delivery is going to be chopped foul.
It's kind of tough to tell if the velo might be a little down for Hale right here. A lot of these Wolverine hitters very out in front. It's hard to tell up here if he's throwing fastball or a changeup there. That last one in particular looked like a changeup.
This one's going to skip off the turf, not really dirt. So skip off the dirt right into waiting glove there. Behind the dish is Damon Harris for the Bulldogs. So this one's going to be slapped hard out there to left in retreat, and it's going to get right past the glove. Hitting his cutoff man in Leyva, and there's going to be the first hit of the day. It's going to go have Self sitting at second.
A tough play for Carson Meister there. Kind of ball hit off the end of the bat, probably had some weird spin to it. Had a good beat on it, mostly ran it down the left center gap, put the glove up. Ball lands in the glove, but unable to corral it. Fortunately for Mr. Meister, I'm going to have to score that one in E7.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch it cleanly if he was on top of it or if it got over his head, but interesting to see as Harris is going to keep that one in front of him enough to hold Self at second.
I'm surprised. This Michigan team typically chirps pretty good from the dugout. Typically when you see a catcher just straight up drop a ball like that, you start hearing some words out of them. But, early Sunday afternoon, maybe a little tired, not enough energy to really try to get into the Bulldog skin today.
Interesting. Hale pitched pretty well in that first inning. Going into this second inning here, he's pitching a little bit more outside, getting off the plate a little bit more than you'd like to see. So he'll deliver this one. There's going to be a strike.
Well, second pitch this at bat that Harris unable to corral. Typically with catchers, that's a timing thing because it's hitting the glove, but the new age of catching.
As Hale's going to throw back to second and get the pick off.
Simply caught napping there was Donovan himself, kind of looking at the outfield, seeing where they were playing, and Hale heads up play, just steps off, flips it over there, and Perrin puts the tag down, and all of a sudden that E7 is erased.
This one's going to be slapped foul left down that third base line, and be interesting to see Martin try to turn this into a day for himself. Michigan Wolverines bench area. Trying to cheer up Martin as he'll send one to center. And it's going to be a routine fly ball for the second out of the inning. Deskin's up to bat now. The DH for the Wolverines.
Now, we didn't see Deskins in the lineup yesterday. Coming in today is the DH. Typically your DH is, one of your better hitters. In the sixth spot today, a little interesting to see, but good righty-lefty matchup for him off the platoon, and we'll see what kind of day he can have today.
It is game 3, so that's going to be slapped. And Leyva can't get there, laying out for the effort. That's going to be a single for Deskins. Mentioned DH is usually one of your better hitters, and if that one earlier is given an E7, that's going to be the first hit on the day.
Not a bad pitch from Hale there. Not a bad result either. One looked like the two-seam fastball outside corner. He got Deskins out in front and rolled it over, but unfortunately, on the turf field here at the Nick, some balls just find holes like that.
Hale checks first. He's going to send this one home, and it's going to be a called strike.
That's Hale's pitch right there. If he's going to have success in this one, that's what he needs to do all day. Harris set up outside there, hits the target perfectly on the outside corner. As a hitter, not what you're going to do with that.
Looks to fire another. That's going to be inside corner. So it's a 2-0 count.
Back-to-back fastballs there from Hale. Both takes. I'd have to imagine he's going to try to start that curveball somewhere in that same tunnel. He's been working around the knees, so if he can start that curveball at the knees, he can get a chase in the dirt here from Hartman.
And Hartman will watch this. It was in the dirt. It's going to be safe on the steal to second.
Now what happened there was great pick by Harris. Hale, knew he was going to be looking down in the zone, kind of spiked a 58-foot curveball there. Harris with a great pick, but just a kind of a weak throw to first, and Deskins over at first read it nicely, got caught no man's land, decided to commit to second base, and makes it in pretty easily.
So this one's going to be delivered inside for the swinging strike 3 by Hartman. Not as clean of an inning for Hale, but he'll get out of it with no runs scored. As Michigan comes out to warm up. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back here.
10 years ago, Adrian College Television set out on a mission to bring the excitement, the passion, and the unforgettable moments of Bulldog athletics to fans everywhere. From the field to the court, from nail-biting finishes to championship victories, ACTV has been there to capture it all.
Yeah, Jordan Spear, happy birthday, buddy. I'm sure.
This year, we celebrate a decade of dedication, 10 years of innovation, teamwork, and delivering the energy of Adrian College straight to your screen. Here's to the next chapter of ACTVB, because at Adrian College, the story is just beginning.
Hello and welcome back inside Nicolay Field as we get ready for the bottom of the second. Fuchs is all warmed and ready to go. Michigan defense got their little short toss in. It's going to be Corwin Allen up to bat and watches that one through.
You know, as we talked about the first inning for Hale, how efficient he was, Fuchs just as efficient, only a 9-pitch inning, induced 2 ground balls and a strikeout last inning. So, great efficiency, but immediately falls behind the Bulldog 4-hitter, 2-0.
Yeah, and Allen has some power. It's just a matter of hitting it at the right spot to get it to go where he wants. Hits a lot of long fouls, but if he can make contact, it's always got a chance, as that's in an elevator shaft, it might be a home run. It's going to be caught by Fuchs.
You know, like that's, again, we talked about the fly balls earlier, but that ball, basically the same colors, the sky, at least the lights aren't on, makes it a little bit easier to make that grab. Typically, you don't want your pitcher making that play, but looked like Martin didn't really pick it up, and a lot of the other infielders were too far away, so Fuchs able to just camp under and make a play.
Fuchs is listed on the Michigan roster as a pitcher/third baseman, so a play he's probably made before is he'll skip another one.
A lefty third baseman, huh?
That's what it says on their roster, interestingly enough. Maybe he's ambidextrous. This one's going to be picked up by Fuchs and fired.
It's a nice play. You know, Walker, not a lot of speed going down that line, kind of hit that little dribbler. Looked like he might have got it past the mound, but Fuchs, great athleticism. Maybe pitchers are athletes after all. Slides over, makes a pretty solid throw. It's a nice one bouncer off the turf to retire Walker pretty easily.
Now, I'm going to take a little guess and say Michigan's roster might be wrong, because the way that the dugout went crazy when Fuchs made that play makes me think he doesn't field a lot of ground balls too often. This one's going to be delivered outside, and a swing and miss for Luke Pope.
Good slider from Fuchs there, starting on the outside corner. He's been starting Bulldog hitters off with fastballs, kind of kept in that same tunnel with the slider, got Pope way out in front.
And that's going to be about the same location. Pope keeps it on his shoulder this time.
You know, as a pitcher, that really opens up your possibilities there. If you're getting a swing like that, first pitch of an at-bat, you know you can pretty much go anywhere here.
And he's going to keep going outside. It's a 2-1 count.
3 straight breaking balls to Luke Pope here. Little surprising to see. You know, number 6 hitter in the lineup. Typically, those are the guys you want to attack. So 3 straight breaking balls, and now he's behind 2-1.
So this one's going to skip off the umpire's shoulder up into the backstop for a ball 3.
Oh, good job by Luke Pope there. Of course, chased the first one, but able to lay 3 straight off. Now he's in 3-1 count. Probably bought himself a pretty good fastball to hit here.
And it's going to be outside, so Pope will take his base. It's going to be the first base runner of the day for the Bulldogs. It's going to be the first baseman.
Now as David Harris comes up to the plate here, had a pretty good day yesterday in Game 1, went 2 for 3 with a pair of base knocks. So, you know, probably seeing the ball pretty well right now. Hopefully he can make something happen here with Pope at first. It's going to take a lot for him to score, though. Most likely a ball in the gap or not the hardest hit ball down the line if he wants Pope to be able to score from first base here.
As this one's going to be behind, and Pope's going to take his base with just about as little pressure as he could get from the second baseman and shortstop there. They were walking towards him.
Harris there stares down Fuchs. Not sure there was any intent there, as during the events of yesterday, Harris on the bench, so not exactly sure why Harris stares him down, but see if it amounts to anything. Maybe an intimidation tactic.
Well, at the same time, Fuchs has been kind of all over the place today, and that's going to induce a swinging strike there.
Good breaking ball there. Talked about it one earlier from Hale. That curveball started right around the knees. Looks like a fastball. Last second drops off into the dirt. Harris didn't recognize it earlier. Swings way over top of it.
So this one's going to be inside on Harris again. It's going to be another one going back to the backstop. Fuchs has unintentionally thrown at Harris twice, and it's moved Pope from first to third. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get it over the plate this time, and if so, Harris has a good chance to make some work with it, as this one's going to be inside. Harris will take it for a ball. It's a 3-1 count. Single scores.
A lot of breaking balls from Fuchs here. I'm a little surprised by that.
There's a walk, and Harris will take his base. Almost got hit on 2 pitches, just to jog down over to first, and now he's going to...
It's going to be a courtesy runner. It's going to be Javier Rosa Franco. Pinch running for the catcher, Harris.
It'll be interesting to see what Fuchs will do here. So he's going to throw inside. It's going to be a hit by pitch. Taking his base is Meister.
You know, this is very similar to what we saw yesterday from the Bulldogs. Slow offense up front. They're still without a hit at the bottom of the lineup now with Perrin. But Michigan pitching, just very wild this inning. 2 straight walks and then a hit by pitch. Next thing you know, the Bulldogs got the bases loaded without a hit.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of a mound visit here. Everyone coming over to talk to their teammate.
Now, Perrin coming up. Pretty good contact hitter, batting .302 on the season with a .362 on base percentage. However, every one of his hits has been a singles. He's only slugging .302. But this is the contact guy who's going to put the ball in play here. Ton of speed. So if he's able to put something on the ground here, pretty good chance at an RBI here. Maybe maybe 2 of them.
Yeah, and this one's going to be delivered inside. Perrin awaits. It's going to be outside. Martin doing a good job stopping that one. As you mentioned, bases loaded. You definitely don't want a ball to escape past your catcher on this.
Even with not a lot of speed on Pope over there, if it gets away enough, he will definitely be able to come home and score.
Especially because on the 2 pass balls earlier, Martin was very lackadaisical getting back there to pick it up, which is what allowed Pope to take his base so easily. That's going to be a swinging strike for Perrin.
You know, since Fuchs is pretty much 75-80% breaking ball right now, that mid to low 70s fastball is probably looking like 80 to 85 in comparison.
That one's going to hop again. Martin will, good job blocking.
The full count, Rosa Franco will be off on the pitch, so anything to the outfield is pretty much guaranteed to score 2 runs here. So Perrin's got the opportunity to give the Bulldogs an early lead.
As that's going to be strike 3 looking. So bases loaded opportunity. And it's going to be avoided nicely by Perrin as we get ready to go into the top of the 3rd. Don't go anywhere here on ACTV, as we'll be right back.
You stand today, students, on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth, introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time that you will always look back on as special years. Never experienced before you arrived today and never replicated after you graduated.
Hello and welcome back as we await Hale starting the third inning off. Facing off against the lefty.
It's going to go 8-9-1 this inning. Arnett, Angles, and Allen. Hale, pretty efficient so far, so hopefully he can keep that up for the Bulldogs here.
That's going to be a strike, sitting with a 1-1 count.
You know, a little bit of the mental side of the game for Hale. Watched his teammates squander a bases-loaded opportunity. And as a pitcher, you hate to see that. You love getting run support. Makes you feel more confident on the mound, being able to, confidently throw strikes, not really worrying about what's going to happen if the ball's put in play. So, sure, he had a pretty negative reaction there to Perrin striking out to end the last inning.
Yeah, as now he's going to throw another one, and really happy we have this net here, because if not, we'd be dodging and ducking a little bit with how many balls have already come up in our direction.
Oh, you forget, Sean. I'm a former catcher. I got cat-like reflexes. I can protect you up here.
Well, former is the operative word there, so I'm going to not take my chances and be happy we have this net, as there's another strike called on the breaking ball. It's going to be a 3-2 count for Arnett.
It's a good fastball there from Hale. Harris set up outside corner. Good angle, received well, presented it well, and gets the call.
Right back past Hale. Nice play for the shortstop. Leyva out there. It's a good play going to his left.
That's something we haven't seen a ton of Leyva so far in this series, is being able to move laterally left and right. But that ball was hit fairly hard off the bat of Arnett, and Leyva got a good jump, fielded it cleanly. It's like a one-hop shuffle, and strong throw over to Pope at first to retire Arnett.
It's got to be relieving for Hale to know that his shortstop has his back there. As the bunt's laid down, Hale will scoop it. He's going to fire to first, off the pick, and it's going to be an out. Pope with the great job.
Couple of nice PFPs here so far by pitchers on both teams. It was a great bump for Angles, got a lot of speed, but Hale, he's a lefty. He finished his motion on the left, on the third base side of the mound. So starts a little bit closer, picks it up, makes the reverse pivot, strong throw, and off the bounce. Pope with a nice pick over there at first.
As Hale will deliver first pitch of this at bat. That's going to be a strike swinging for Cole Allen. The second pitch of the at bat will hit off the ground and right into Cole Allen. Looked like he was wincing after that one.
Yeah, those don't feel too good, especially colder day like this. Fouls it right into the foot. I can tell you from experience, not a great feeling.
No, definitely not, and he's not wearing any of that protective gear down there on his ankles. As he awaits pitch 3, and he'll send this one right out to right field on his horse, but it's going to get down and bounce over the head. Now chasing after it is going to be Connor Davies as Allen goes to third, and it's going to be a stand-up. So stand-up triple there.
You know, it's a good pitch by Hale. Got the fastball in on the hands of Allen. Really didn't hit it particularly well. Just kind of blooped it into right field. Davies, not a great jump on the ball, not a lot of speed out there, so just kind of pulls up on it, and off the turf it bounces over his head, and that's going to allow the speedy Allen into third base. Now the Wolverines are set up with an RBI opportunity.
Yeah, and you have to imagine 2 outs, man on third. Anything that escapes the first baseman is going to score Allen. He's got some wheels over there at third.
You know, the big problem with the leadoff guy doing something like that is now Robert Schilp, one of the best hitters in this lineup, is in a prime position of driving a run.
Looks like Hale's going to pitch away from Schilp on the first 2. Try to get him to chase on something, and I don't think he'd be too mad if Schilp ends up taking first here and gives a put out at second and first.
I don't hate it at all. Jeremy Sachs, a lefty, is on deck. Hasn't had a ton of success in this series. So if you're playing the lefty-right matchup, you know, maybe you pitch around Schilp here. Try to get him to get himself out here.
As Hale awaits. Delivers right up the middle, and it's going to get past the third baseman, going out into left. It looks like it's going to be a stand-up double as Leyva receives the cutoff, and Michigan will score their first run of the day.
Just kind of a cookie down the middle there to Shilp. You know, anytime you're in a 2-0 count, you're going to have to give in to the hitter, and Hale does there. Again, pretty much a cookie down the middle, and Shilp absolutely ropes it down the third base line for a double.
Interesting that he didn't do what we had been mentioning and just kind of give Shilp the base, get that put-out situation for Sachs and see what Sachs can do. As Sachs is going to sky one to left, and that one will be out. Routine fly ball there for Meister. As we get ready to go into the bottom of the third, Michigan is up 1-0. My name is Sean Whitmer, joined by Remy, and we will be right back.
10 years ago, Adrian College Television set out on a mission to bring the excitement, the passion, and the unforgettable moments of Bulldog athletics to fans everywhere. From the field to the court, from nail-biting finishes to championship victories, ACTV has been there to capture it all.
Yeah, Jordan Spear. Happy birthday, buddy. I'm sure.
This year, we celebrate a decade of dedication, 10 years of innovation, teamwork, and delivering the energy of Adrian College straight to your screen. Here's to the next chapter of ACTVB, because at Adrian College, the story is just beginning.
Hello and welcome back as we get prepared for the bottom of the third. And it's going to be Fuchs preparing for his third inning of work. Hasn't given up a run despite giving up bases loaded opportunities after 2 walks, one to Luke Pope and one to Damon Harris. And then he hit Carson Meister on, I believe, the first pitch of the at-bat. Unfortunately got Ty Perrin out. So the Bulldogs were unable to come away with any runs in the bottom of the second. As the first pitch here delivered, is going to be foul tipped back into the netting. It's going to be number 18, Tyler Hall. As the second pitch, low and away. It's a 1-2 count. As that's going to be a swinging strike. Looked a little high to me.
I like the pitch there from Fuchs. You know, he's been a lot of off-speed early on in this game. I would imagine with 2 strikes, the lefty Hall sitting on a slider, sees something up, thinks he could take a rip at it, chases the high fastball.
Leyva in for the second time. As this one's going to be inside. So we'll have ourselves a ball. 1-0 count. Fuchs being very decisive with his pitches. As Leyva will stay put for ball 2.
You know, tough pitch there. You know, looked pretty good coming in, but just not a good job receiving right there by the Wolverine catcher Martin. You know, if you really beat that pitch to the spot and pull it up, you'll probably get that call at the knees. Instead, kind of lets it get deep, and he doesn't get the call.
And almost the exact same pitch. This time Martin, a little bit better job at framing that one up to give his pitcher the call. Leyva awaits the third pitch of the at-bat. 4th pitch of the at-bat, mind you. And it's going to be a 2-2 count.
Man, that is a looper from Fuchs. That thing started about eye level for Leyva, about a foot outside, ends up coming back over the corner.
And ball 3 is going to be an eventful one as it gets pretty well outside of Martin there. We mentioned earlier just letting some of those ones go back to the backstop. That's exactly what he does on that one. Not trying to kill himself.
Throw the glove at it. Whatever happens, happens. You catch it, you catch it. If not, well, nobody on base.
As Leyva is going to swing at this one, put it into what would have been into the stands. Thankfully, we have Protective netting all around everyone in attendance here.
After back-to-back fastballs here, Fuchs been pounding off speed all day. I got to imagine we're going to see something off speed here.
Leiva's going to swing, drop third, but an easy throw for Martin. And Fuchs celebrates the drop third strike. Look to sheath the sword there.
And not quite a sword. Their sword's typically on a check swing or an ugly kind of half swing. That was a full swing from Leiva. It was a great pitch. Curveball starts at the knees. You know, if that's a fastball, it's going to stick there, and he's going to get punched out. Instead, it falls off last second. Leiva not able to recognize it, swings way over top of it, and it's an easy play for Martin.
As Davies comes in, take the first pitch for a strike. Lefty-lefty matchup. It's very common today as Martin will scoop that one off the ground cleanly. Fuchs takes credit for the bad pitch.
As you mentioned, a lot of left-handed hitters in this Bulldog lineup. Typically, we see more lefties out of this lineup, but I'm sure they knew Fuchs was going to be on the mound today, and Coach Josh Knorr stuck a few extra righties in his lineup today.
Definitely a smart move, as the lefties have definitely struggled against Fuchs so far. This pitch is delivered outside. Going to be a 2-1 count.
You mentioned that lefties have struggled against Fuchs. Really, everyone has struggled against Fuchs so far. I know Bulldogs had the bases loaded last inning. However, they still have not had a hit in this ball game. This is our 12th batter of the game. We haven't had a hit yet. Very similar to what we saw yesterday. So if the Bulldogs want to win this game, they're going to have to wake the bats up.
As that's going to be a look strike in for the 2-2 count. As you mentioned, they're going to have to wake the bats up. They haven't even really made solid contact except for, I believe, the first inning when they hit to second for the easy out. As that's going to be strike 3 looking. Davies is down, and so is the inning. That's 3 up, 3 down for Fuchs. And that's going to do it for us here in the third inning. Don't go anywhere. We'll
Adrian College is shaping the future of higher education and leading the way in innovation and excellence. Ranked first in most innovative schools and second in best value in undergraduate teaching in the Midwest by U.S. News and World Report, Adrian College is recognized for its commitment to innovation, quality education, and affordability. Offering 71 undergraduate programs, 13 graduate programs, and a 1-to-15 faculty-to-student ratio, our students receive personalized attention and a cutting-edge education. With state-of-the-art facilities, 10 academic institutes, and 50 competitive sports teams, Adrian fosters growth both inside and outside the classroom. From small class sizes to championship-level athletics, we provide the tools and experiences you need to succeed. Join a community that prioritizes your success. Start your journey with us, where your potential is realized. Discover Adrian College.
And we're back for the 4th inning here, as that was a rough third for the Bulldogs. They gave up 1 run and didn't get anything to secure themselves on the back end.
You know, very frustrating for Hale, I'm sure. He's pitching a very good game so far. Really hasn't given up too much solid contact. Gave up a run last inning. Still, pitch count fairly low. So I'm sure he's just begging his guys in the dugout, like, guys, come on, I'm pitching well here. Get me a run.
Talking to Hale yesterday, he seemed to give me the suggestions that he's the type of person that when he's pitching, he just likes to sit there in silence and let everything come to him, as that one's going to skip into the glove of Harris.
You know, I can attest to that. Only played with Hale for about a semester. Only got to catch him maybe once or twice. But, yeah, when he's starting, he's going to sit in the corner of the dugout. He's not really going to say a word. And then when he comes out of the game, he's going to do his post-game routine, you know, stretching out, keeping the arm loose. And it's been working so far. He's had a pretty good day.
As this one's going to be hit hard to left field on his horse. Hat falls off, but a clean catch. Out there tracking it, and it Looks like the Michigan player was unaware that it was caught. He ran to second and stood there for a second looking at the umpire like, am I out, really?
I mean, I'd be pretty surprised, too. That ball is absolutely smoked in the left field. However, cold day, ball's not really going to carry like that. Meister had a great jump on it. Took a great angle. Very different from what we saw earlier from him, which is a great play out there in left.
And you got to think Hale is saying his graces right now to Meister because he doesn't say much in the dugout. I imagine he'll say something after this inning about that one. That's a tough play to make out there in left. As this one's going to be smacked past Leyva, and it's only going to be a single for Martin.
I would imagine with the catcher getting a base knock here, they're going to look for a courtesy runner as, yep, we're going to see the Michigan head coach come out. So, normally, catcher on base, typically not the fastest. You don't got to worry about him. But if you're going to have your choice at a courtesy runner, you're going to take it every time. So watch out for the steal here.
Deskins waiting for his first offering. As Hale delivers for strike one. Hale already with a successful pickoff attempt in this game.
Well, not a big lead over there. I'm a little surprised. You'd think a lot of speed over there coming in off the bench. You'd get pretty aggressive here, but I guess with the lefty Hale on the mound, the runner not too comfortable getting big over there.
As this one's going to be knocked over to Leyva, going for the out at second, and it will be called out. Not enough time there to turn that.
I'm surprised we're not really seeing an argument from the Wolverines there. Leyva took a long time to get that ball over to second base, and when he did, it was a low throw. Perrin kind of dropped onto a knee. At the end, it looked like he reached out for something. Maybe the ball came out of the glove. From our angle, we will never know. However, they call him out. And
I had a little bit of a better angle at it than you did, and it looked like it popped out for a second. So the umpire had about the same angle as you, as that one's going to be outside.
Hartman showing bunt there. A little surprised by that with 2 outs, especially Walker about even with the bag over there at third. So, bunting for a hit with 2 outs, typically don't see it, but I don't hate the idea here.
That's if he can get the hit off the bunt, as that will be off the end of the bat. Skip over foul. 1 strike. Bunt's still an option, but we've seen that fail earlier. Hale able to get to the bunt. The only bunt he's seen so far today.
And with 1 strike, you're typically not going to bunt here. He'll be swinging away trying to put a ball in the gap.
Or he'll take ball 2.
A little bit of a little deception there from Hale. Kind of hung that right leg up in the air. Took a glance over to Deskings over there at first base. And, kind of threw off his timing a little bit. Didn't really finish that pitch and throws it upstairs.
This one's going to be delivered for strike 2, sitting at a 2-2 count.
Kind of a get-me-over curveball there in a 2-1. I don't hate the pitch call. These Wolverine hitters are getting fastball counts, and they're hitting the fastball, so throwing in a little off-speed and a fastball count works out there for Hale, gets the take.
That one's going to be low. So Hale sitting with giving up a 3-2 count. He has to give Hartman something to look at least.
Here on a 3-2, Deskins is going to be taken off from first base. The lefty Hale, I would throw a pickoff here. As soon as that right leg comes up in the air, I'd imagine Deskins takes off, so maybe a flip over to first here. He might be able to get him.
Hale with a little bit of a longer stretch that time, and it's going to be knocked down the third base line. Getting after it is Meister, who fires to third, and it's not going to be in time. Runners take second and third. As you mentioned, expected Hale to kind of see what the runner at first was going to do. He held his leg a little bit longer that time, and the runner stayed put. Might have messed up his timing, though.
However, you said it right there with the timing. Kind of not necessarily his best pitch he's thrown today. Didn't have too much velo on it, and kind of just threw it down the middle. And Hartman was able to get out in front of it, hit it pretty hard down the left field line. However, Meister able to get to it quickly, runners stay put, and Hale still got a chance to get out of this unscathed.
Now going lefty-lefty against Arnett. That one's going to be blooped. Leyva will make the clean grab. So that'll get us out of the inning and get Hale out of the heat. So it'll be interesting to see what Michigan does going forward, as we will see momentarily, but we'll take a break first. Don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back.
This is the Arrington Bookstore at Adrian College, the place to get game day ready, represent your clubs and organizations, and be Bulldog proud. With a wide selection of merchandise and a smile at every visit, stop by inside the Kane Student Center to pick up your Adrian College wares and make it another great day to be a Bulldog.
And we're back. As Fuchs still on the mound, hasn't really gave the coach a reason to pull him, so.
Well, he's been pitching very crafty so far. I've really enjoyed his pitch selection so far. Him and Martin working in tandem, kind of getting ahead with the breaking stuff. He's finished off a few Bulldogs with the fastball. So these Bulldogs, they're falling behind in counts, and they're guessing wrong on these pitches. So if the Bulldogs want to wake the bats up, they're going to have to be more aggressive early. Hit maybe one of those get-me-over curveballs or, middle fastballs trying to get ahead in counts. So, because right now, keeping the bat on the shoulder going deep in counts just isn't working for him.
The one thing that's been interesting to watch with Fuchs, he has done a good job today. He hasn't given up a hit. It's been a lot of strikeouts. He's walked 2 batters and he hit one with a pitch. He's been very erratic with his pitches. The selection is nice, but it's a lot of outside, a lot of dropping in, hitting off the turf. You'd like to see him control it a little bit better.
I'm not sure about that. I think the term I would use is effectively wild. The few times the Bulldogs have gotten in good hitters' counts, they're not guaranteeing themselves a good pitch to hit. That extra split second, like, hey, I might not get a 2-0 middle and fastball here. He might flip me a curveball that I'm going to have to lay off. So just a big mental game that Fuchs is definitely winning right now.
Yeah, that is very true. He has been effectively wild, as you mentioned. And Corwin Allen up to the dish, as this one's going to be knocked, and it's going to be foul ball.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Fuchs came in with the curveball. It was pretty much middle at the knees. Corwin sat on it nicely, put a barrel on it, just a little out in front, about 2 feet to the right. Corwin standing on second base.
Yeah, and that's what Allen is known as, a strong player. He hits the ball hard, as he'll swing and miss at this one. Last time he hit the ball hard, and it was hit very high. That time, tried to get it down the line. He'll check himself on this one. Looked like he wanted to get that bat off his shoulder and wisely held.
A little surprised we didn't see an appeal there. That bat head went pretty far out in front of him there. So if I were Martin right now, I'd be campaigning for an appeal on that.
He won't need an appeal for this one. That's going to be dropped third. Once again, getting him out. So you mentioned earlier, former catcher. How many times are you sitting down there after a play like that, just sitting there talking to the ump before the pitch comes and just like, think we could get that one next time?
That depends on the umpire. Some guys are real uptight and strict. They really won't let you trash talk the hitters at all. But other times you get someone a little bit more relaxed back there that kind of just, lets you enjoy the game, enjoy all parts of the game, including, a little bit of trash talk. So those are the types of umpires where if you ask them about a call, they're going to be straight up with you, and it's really helpful as a catcher because I can then relay that information to everyone on my team. So I'm assuming we've seen Martin's head turn around a few times. He's having that conversation right now with the umpire, trying to get an exact gauge on what the strike zone's looking like and things he can do to help his team.
Yeah, that's going to be tipped back, giving us a 2-1 count here for Andrew Walker.
Big swing from Walker there on the 2-0. Kind of knew he was getting a fastball there, Fuchs just kind of put it in his mitt right away and threw it, so he knew he was getting a fastball. Took a big pass at it, just not the best pitch to take a pass at.
That one's going to be inside. 3-1. Fuchs really needs to keep it over the plate. As Walker awaits, that's going to be strike 2 looking.
Good pitcher's pitch there from Fuchs. Martin set up down and away, and Fuchs hit the target perfectly.
As Walker will swing and miss at that. So that'll be 2 up, 2 down.
7 Ks already from Fuchs in this one. Again, we're in the bottom of the 4th. Bulldogs still looking for that first hit. And when you throw the 7 strikeouts on top of that, Fuchs has had himself a day so far.
So he'll deliver this one over to Pope.
Very similar to what we saw to Pope's last at-bat. Just working away. Pope able to lay off the first pitch and get ahead.
Yeah, and in Pope's last at-bat, that was the first walk we seen that kind of started a walk rally for the Bulldogs there, and didn't lead to anything, unfortunately, but be interesting to see is that's going to be off the back of Pope and then into the bat.
Now, that hit the bat first. If it
Did
hits,
it?
Yeah, as soon as it makes contact with the player, it's a dead ball. Pope would
Yeah.
get first base, but, he ducked down to avoid that slow curveball, but couldn't get the bat out of the way.
That one's going to be called ball. Another one of those where check the swing and
I think the Bulldogs got away with one there. Even you kind of saw Pope kind of freeze up like, oh, I think I went there.
that's going to be high for ball 3. It's going to be a 3-2 count, 2 outs. Getting a little bit of deja vu here from the last time Pope was up to bat. Well, there goes that deja vu as Pope will swing and miss for strike 3. And that'll do it for the 4th inning of play, still sitting at 1-0. Of course, that 1 run came back at the top of the 3rd for the Wolverines. And we're going to take ourselves a break as Hale's still out there warming for the 5th inning. Don't go.
You stand today, students, on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth, introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time that you will always look back on as special years, never experienced before you arrive today, and never replicated after you graduate.
And we're back as Hale delivers the first pitch of the inning to Engels. Able to hold off as that one was very low.
Engels, of course, last time up had that bunt attempt where Hale made a really nice play going to his left.
As this one's going to hop over to 3rd. Stretched out for it, but Pope will make the catch. That'll be out number 1 for Hale of the inning.
Man, the Wolverine first base coach begging to that base umpire that Pope's foot came off the bag, but I don't think he understands that once you catch the ball and your foot's on the bag, it's allowed to come off right away.
Yeah, you want to protect yourself from getting cleated there. As Hale will deliver. That's going to be ball 1.
Now with the Wolverine leadoff man Cole Allen up, I'm interested to see how Hale attacks this lineup for the 3rd time. typically when we see kind of a starting pitcher go third time through the order, the attack plan changes, the hitters are more on him than before. So hopefully he's able to make that adjustment and have some success.
It'll be interesting to see what the scorers call that, as it was right off the body of the third baseman and dropped it, picked it up, rifled it to first. It was just, there was no chance. He probably should have ate that ball.
It's going to go as an E5 for Walker. Fairly routine play, just kind of that last hop came up on him a little bit, unable to make the play.
Hale checking the man at first, and he'll go hit and run. And there's going to be no out with the play at third, and he's out.
Wow. What a play, Ty Perrin.
Phenomenal job there for the second baseman. Looked at one, didn't see anything he could work with, so he spun, seen the man sprinting for third. Just an easy job for the second baseman there to get the play out.
Start of that play, it was going to look like it was going to be a perfectly executed hit and run. The batter, Schilp, puts it through the hole. Perrin makes the play on the short hop.
Sachs will send this one right into that left center gap. Center fielder will scoop it. Runner being sent for 4. And good job scooping that off the hop for Harris. Schilp will score. So it's going to sit at 2-0 in favor of the Wolverines.
Schilp was able to score on that absurdly easily just because of the jump he had on the stolen base attempt. Hale's leg hung up in the air for such a long time. He was basically standing on second when Sachs hit that ball, so ball in the gap, just easily able to score on that.
Yeah, you want to see if Hale can maybe speed up his mechanics while not getting wild with runners on. So that's going to be right down the middle for strike 1.
I talked about at the start of the inning, third time through the order, things get a little bit more difficult as as these hitters have already seen you at least 5-6 pitches, so you really need to change your attack plan and work different angles.
This one going to be outside for ball 1, sitting at a 1-1 count with 2 outs.
But going back to that play for Ty Perrin, kind of faked the throw to first base to bait the runner into going to third, hits a reverse pivot and fires a strike over there to barely get the runner.
Another ball outside for Hale. It's almost like he heard me. He's starting to speed up his mechanics, but 2 balls as a result, so maybe he needs to go back to slowing them down a little bit.
Early in the season, pitch count may kind of come into effect there. That last pitch was a 60th of the game, so starting to get up there a little bit. As the season goes on, you get more used to throwing deeper and deeper into games, but this is Hale's first start of the spring season, so doesn't really surprise me that the fatigue might be setting in. Looking out the bullpen, no one's getting loose over there yet, so head coach Josh Knorr is going to roll with this guy for a while.
Yeah, as you mentioned, first start, also first appearance, didn't appear at all yesterday, which we've talked about. It's just a situation of, do you pull him or do you let him rock? Because that's going to be a strike. That last ball he threw, it was very slow coming in. That's a pitch, if it gets over the plate, it's getting clobbered.
Yeah, it looked like the changeup from Hale in a 3-1 count, trying to keep the Wolverine hitters off balance. However, just kind of got away with one there. A little bit more of the outside corner, but like you said, if it was a little bit more over the plate, that ball's going to go a long way if it's touched.
Yeah, it was a changeup that was picked up early. I think even Self knew. It looked like he leaned back a little bit, knowing it was going to be outside, as this one's going to be dropped in for ball 4. Self will take his base. Hale checking with the umpire on where that pitch was called at.
You know, I talked about the receiving from Martin earlier, but that pitch right there for Harris, if he's able to beat that ball to the spot and pull that thing up back into the strike zone, probably gets that call. However, kind of catches it a little bit deeper, kind of stabs into the ground a bit, and if that happens, you're basically never going to get that call.
As Hale will deliver this one, and it's going to be fouled up over the building.
That's a car right there. All the cars parked right behind the Nick here. And a lot of real estate for that baseball to find.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I decided to move my vehicle before the game had started. As Martin awaits the second offering. As that's going to be ball one for a 1-1 count. It's interesting to see back there at second base. Hale, just by getting that pick off earlier, he's holding base runners on second base right now. They don't want to take a big lead.
Also, Perrin hovering in the area is kind of keeping that runner a little bit close, which with 2 outs, we typically don't see any infielders hold the runner on. Sometimes you're just kind of willing to give up third base in this scenario if it means being in a better defensive position.
Yeah, because there's an ocean right there between first and second. If he can just almost poke that one in there, that's an easy single. That's going to be a little bit high for ball 4. As here comes Knorr.
We have a dispute over the count right now. Personally, I had it at 3 balls. I believe the count should be 3-1 here.
It looks like that's what everyone was disputing, so it will go back and we'll be sitting at 3-1, everyone returning to their original spots.
Now, going back about what you said about the defensive positioning and the ocean between first and second, that's calculated, though. We've mentioned Hale, the velocity really is not there today. The Wolverines have been out in front of pitches the entire game, so not having a second baseman all the way over, not a bad thing for the Bulldogs if it means that he's most likely going to pull the ball here.
Yeah, and if my memory serves me correct, Martin has pulled the ball in the few offerings that he's seen. Pretty sure he's the player that hit the ball right down the line.
Last time up, kind of hit that seeing eye ground ball up the middle just past Leyva.
Oh, was he the one that went up the middle past Leyva? Okay. So either way, I mean, you got your second baseman kind of in there for that. As there's ball 4. Martin faked us out last time. This time he will take his base properly.
Good news is I'm not going to have to change the scorecard there, as I already penciled in a BB there. So we're going to have a mound visit here. Again, bullpen not up, as looks like Colt Hicks has sat up, kind of hitting the bands right now. I'd have to imagine he's next. Which is a interesting strategic decision by Josh Knorr. Again, Michael Hale, that crafty lefty's not really going to blow anything by you. And Colton Hicks, pretty much the same type of pitcher there. So I'm a little surprised he's going to give the Wolverines basically the same pitcher back-to-back.
Yeah, and Hale staying on the mound, still watching over there in the bullpen to see if Hicks starts warming or if he's just going to keep stretching it out a little bit.
Pitch count for Hale at 67. So I'd have to imagine maybe this is his last inning. Maybe he comes out for the 6th inning. With any trouble, he gets pulled then. But for now, he's in there.
So it looks like some warming is going on. This one's skied in the air over to right. Camping underneath for the easy out. Holding him at 2 runs. And Hale will find his way back to the bullpen. Might be the last time walking off the mound today. But don't forget to stay connected with all the action by following at Adrian College TV on social media. From game highlights to campus events, we've got you covered. Don't miss a moment. Follow at Adrian College TV today. Now everyone coming out. Haven't seen Fuchs come out yet, but imagine he'll stay in this game, and we'll update you on that when we get back here in a short minute. Don't go anywhere.
Adrian College is a private liberal arts institution known for its diverse academic programs, strong emphasis on experiential learning, vibrant campus life, and commitment to fostering a supportive community. Want to visit Adrian College for yourself? visit our website at adrian.edu/campus visit.
And we're back. Fuchs still on the mound. Quick question for you, Remy. What's the purpose of playing catch with a football in between the innings?
Well, baseball's a boring game. You know, it's 3 hours long. If you're on the bench, you're really doing nothing. So a lot of the time for those guys, it's just kind of getting around, moving, especially cold day like this. Never know if you're going to get into the game. So kind of just staying loose on the side, like in the dugout. It's pretty important.
Yeah, because I know hockey players will play keepy-ups with a soccer ball before their game, so I wasn't sure if it's just one of those things, but sounds to me like they're just trying to stay warm here when it's cold.
You know, it's kind of switching gears. Interesting story kind of developing here. Again, Fuchs threw 4 no-hit innings, and along with those no-hits, looking down at the scorecard, it's looking like a Kmart. 7 straight strikeouts from Fuchs, dating back to the bottom of the second inning. So we're going to see here if Damon Harris is able to break that streak and put something in play here.
As he awaits, and it's going to be inside.
Harris stares him down again.
Harris got the walk the last time up, but he was almost hit by 2 pitches in that last at-bat. And he stared down Fuchs each time he almost got hit, so...
After that last one, you stared into the dugout after one of the Wolverines said something.
That's going to be 3-0 right away.
A little bit of antics, some extracurriculars developing in this one. I'm not opposed to it.
As you mentioned, it can be a boring game, so some extras happening is never bad, as Harris will take 4 and take his base along with it.
We see a courtesy runner here. Again, it's going to be Javier Rosafranco. Pinch running for catcher Harris. Drew the 4-pitch walk, so good at bat for him to get it started. Only trailing 2 runs in the middle innings. The Bulldogs still very much in this game. All it's going to take is a bloop and a blast.
His pickoff attempt. Rosa
good.
Franco got back easy.
Good quick move from Fuchs there. A lot of pitchers, they'll hang that leg up and then come over, but just kind of a simple picks it up, puts it down, flip over. Made it a close play over there.
Meister going to knock this one right back up the middle. And they're going to go for 2, but they're going to have to eat that one. Rosa Franco out. That's going to be a fielder's choice for Meister.
Kind of an awkward swing there from Meister. You know, 0-0 pitch. Typically, you're going to want to get your A swing off there, but kind of got tied up by the inside fastball, catches it off the hands. And I'm sure in this cold weather, that could not have felt too good for him.
No, that was something that I was talking about with a couple of the players yesterday, as another pickoff attempt, and that's going to hit off the runner, but safe at first.
Unfortunate for Meister, as you said, it did hit him. If that ball does not make contact with Meister, it's getting past Sachs over there at first, and Meister's standing on at least second base right now.
Yeah, a little bit more of a wild pickoff attempt, and we'll try twice. Safe once again.
Meister not scared of being picked off. Typically with a lefty, your lead's going to be a little bit smaller, but it looking like that lead's about, and he shortens up there about to 6 feet. He was at about 8.
As this one's going to be foul tipped back. So that's going to be strike 1.
You know, throughout this game, Fuchs has put a lot of pitches in the dirt. We've seen it come into effect with runners on base, so it's important for Meister to get a good lead here.
As that's going to be another foul.
That's one of those bunts. It was a curveball that pretty much started behind Perrin. It would have ended up being a ball, wouldn't have made it back to the plate. So that's one you got to recognize that early and pull it away.
As Fuchs going to go for the pickoff again, this time not even close. Got it on the outside, well, inside foot of Sachs. Fuchs does not seem to care for Meister there on first base. As Perrin will strike out.
It's 9th strikeout of the game from Fuchs. We're only in the 5th inning. Just absolute domination from Fuchs here.
Leadoff hitter up to bat now, Tyler Hall. Playing out in center. And Fuchs is going to go for another pickoff attempt.
He's going to keep him close there. You know, if Meister's able to move in a scoring position and Hall's able to get a hit, all of a sudden Bulldogs only down by 1. That's a very important run at first base here in a pitcher's duel.
And Hall will take his base. Meister goes to second. Did a lot of dancing at first. It'll be curious to see if he'll do more of the same over there at second as Leyva comes up.
I'm a little surprised looking at where the outfielders are positioned fairly deep. Yes, it's the middle of the Bulldogs order, but they haven't proven they can really burn them in any of these games so far this series. So with a runner on second, I'm surprised they're not in trying to cut down the runner at the plate, should anything go into the outfield.
As that's going to escape past Martin. Everyone will take a base. Fuchs getting so worried with the runners on base, he's kind of losing his focus that he's had so well. As you mentioned, coming in, he had 8 strikeouts in a row. Now he's kind of getting a little sloppy.
You know, another thing to look at, Jake Martin, the backup catcher behind Griffin Party, may not be as good of a blocker as Party is, and you saw it right there. That's a ball that we saw Party block multiple times yesterday, but unfortunately for the Wolverines, Martin unable to drag that one out. Bulldogs now have 2 runners in scoring position, one of their better hitters at the plate.
And Meister is ready to go if anything gets past. He's taking a little bit of extra steps there, as that's going to be a strike 2.
If you're Leyva, that's when you got to take a pass at. That thing started about chin high. You know it's going to drop down into the zone. That's when you just kind of drop the barrel, turn the hips, and you can really send that thing out to left field.
He's going to knock this one out to right, and Hall rounds third, coming home, and there's no play at the plate. Hall slides anyway, so the Bulldogs will tie it up at 2. And you can see the players celebrating with Hall.
Well, the Bulldogs picked a good time to get their first hit of the ball game there with Leyva. You know, had 2 strikes on him, watched a pretty good pitch before, had to hit a pitcher's pitch. It was a fastball outside corner, simply went with the pitch, drove it out to right, and with a ton of speed on the bases for the Bulldogs, Hall able to come around from second and score pretty easily, and we got a brand new ball game here in the 5th.
As we mentioned, the last time Hale was up, Hicks is in the pen warming at this point, no longer just stretching. So Hicks getting warm. We'll likely see him soon.
He's most likely going to be the first guy out of the pen, but Michael Hale, the pitch count not up there absurdly high quite yet, so I'd have to imagine we see him at least come out for the 6th inning. He may not finish the inning should any trouble happen, but in all likelihood, Hale will be coming out for the 6th inning.
And if I'm not mistaken, Davies still has his glasses on for you.
2 backwards Ks so far for Davies in this one.
He's going to take the first pitch for ball 1.
Not a lot of speed at first base with Leyva. You can see it, only about a 4-foot lead over there. Absolutely just not a threat.
As Davies is going to knock this one into the gap. Leyva's going to round second. It's going to squeeze through the right and center fielder. Leyva's coming home. Davies going to third. And we have ourselves a lead change as the Bulldogs go up 3-2.
The beautiful thing about baseball, I mentioned Davies went down looking twice already in this game, but here with a runner on, gets a fastball in the middle of the plate, puts a barrel on it, and here at the Nick, it's a turf field. If you put a line drive into the gap, it's going to go all the way to the wall, and as soon as it does, Leyva knows to get on his horse, comes around and scores. Bulldogs put up a 3-spot here in the 5th, and they're not done yet.
See if Corwin Allen can add to the fun as he takes ball 1. So we have ourselves a 2 RBI single As strike one comes through, 2 RBI single and then a 1 RBI triple. And Fuchs looks to deliver, as that will be ball 2.
Good stop from Martin there. Looks like a spiked fastball down and in. That's one of the toughest blocks a catcher has to make there. Kind of had to stand up a little bit as it was a spiked fastball. So if you go straight down, there's a chance that thing hits off your mask and shoots to the side.
As Allen's going to knock this one to third. It's hard to handle over there. Allen will get out. That's a bang, bang play. I see you shaking your head over there. You seem to agree with the call. I didn't have a great look at it. I was watching Davies run across first, or run across home, mind you. So get out of the 5th. 4 runs total scored. 3 for the Bulldogs, 1 for the Wolverines. As you mentioned, Hale will be back out for the start of the 6th. Don't go anywhere, as we will be right back.
Adrian College is shaping the future of higher education and leading the way in innovation and excellence. Ranked first in most innovative schools and second in best value in undergraduate teaching in the Midwest by U.S. News and World Report, Adrian College is recognized for its commitment to innovation, quality education, and affordability. Offering 71 undergraduate programs, 13 graduate programs, and a 1-to-15 faculty-to-student ratio, our students receive personalized attention and a cutting-edge education. With state-of-the-art facilities, 10 academic institutes, and 50 competitive sports teams, Adrian fosters growth both inside and outside the classroom. From small class sizes to championship-level athletics, we provide the tools and experiences you need to succeed. Join a community that prioritizes your success. Start your journey with us, where your potential is realized. Discover Adrian College.
And we're back. Quick little conference between Hale and Harris. Likely the last time we see Hale today.
Pitch count at 68 currently through 5 innings. However, he's been pitching to contact all game. Only 1 strikeout and 2 walks in the game. So there's a chance he can get out of this inning in only a few pitches here.
This one's going to be bunted to the right, as Hale's going to throw it, and he's going to send that over into right field. And it gets past the right fielder. He's going to take third. He might go home. He's being sent on his horse, and that's going to be
a bunt. Little League home run.
A bunted home run for the Wolverines to tie this game.
Hang on now, Sean. They're going to say that he missed one of the bases. Bulldogs are going to appeal something here. It's Andrew Walker, the third baseman, saying it's a Hale. So the appeal process, Michael's going to step on the mound here, step off, and probably throw over to third base, and we're going to have an appeal here. So Walker's going to step on third. And they're still going to call him safe. So I guess he did touch third base there.
A lot of theatrics for not a lot of result, as Arnett.
So I think the scoring on that last play is a bunt single, because Hardman was going to beat that throw no matter what. But it's going to be an E1 on Hale and then an E9 on Davies as the ball went under his glove in right field.
This one's rifled over to Perrin at second, and it's an easy out.
Big out there for Hale, kind of calm the nerves, because, well, it doesn't feel too good when you give up a Little League home run to a team, especially on a bunt. So good that Michael Hale's able to settle down there and get the ground ball and gets himself an out, picks the confidence up a bit as he gets ready to attack the top of this Wolverine lineup coming up here.
As Angles, last man in before the top of the lineup, takes the first pitch for a strike. And he'll swing at the second one.
Good changeup from Hale there. Kind of fell off the table at the last second. It's been a pitch that's been available to him all game. He's gotten a few whiffs on it, a couple weak ground balls. Right there, starts it at the knees, kind of falls off. Angles just swung way over top of it.
Yeah, and Hale's being very selective. He's not taking the first pitch that comes his way, and that's going to be 3 straight strikes for Engels.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. When off-speed finished him with the high fastball. That's how you pitch someone backwards right there.
It's going to be Cole Allen, the leadoff man. Takes strike 1.
It's hard to tell. We've mentioned it a few times already, but the velocity's certainly down for Hale in this one. It's kind of tough to tell if that's a fastball or a changeup from here. You can pretty much tell by the way Harris is set up and the way he presents it, kind of what the pitch was supposed to be. So that first pitch, I believe it was a fastball, and that second one there was the changeup.
That's going to be ball 1, or ball 2, mind you, 2-1 count.
Not a bad pitch from Hale, just kind of leaked it a little bit arm side. Harris unable to bring that one back into the strike zone.
Knocked right back to Hale. Take a little trot over towards first. Bulldogs will retire, only giving up 1. And that'll do it for the top of the 6th. We'll see you at the bottom of the 6th. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Morgan, the current student government president here at Adrian College. I chose Adrian College because of the campus size. Campus feels like a fun, energetic community where everyone knows each other. If you want to see what Adrian has to offer for you, you can schedule an in-person visit at adrian.edu/campus-visit.
New pitcher.
And we're back here on ACTV as we have our first pitching change of the day.
I believe that is Meadows. We saw him in the ball game yesterday. One of the better relievers for the Wolverines. You're going to see a power sinker. It's his best pitch. But if he gets into a kind of a 2-strike count, he's going to throw this devastating, sharp breaking ball. More of a 12-6, just kind of a hammer that he'll drop in there to try to finish off hitters today.
Yeah, it's Trey Meadows. That's what my roster has as well.
So final line score for the starter for the Wolverines, Mitchell Fuchs, was 5 innings, 3 runs on 2 hits, 3 walks, but 9 strikeouts over 5 innings. Overall, very solid day from Fuchs. Only ran into trouble in his last inning of work.
Yeah, and that last inning is what I think ultimately did it for him. He fell apart. He really did. He played so good in those first 4 and just fell off a table going into the 5th.
You know, it really started with a walk and then a ground out and a strikeout. Had a very good chance to get out of it, but then he hit Tyler Hall, which put him in his scoring position, and then a wild pitch, which put him on second and third, and then Jesse Leyva comes up clutch with the base knock into right field, and then Connor Davies with the exclamation point rips one into the gap for an RBI triple.
So going forward, Meadows, like you said, pitched yesterday, so he's warmer than a lot of these other guys are going to be.
And let me tell you, Sean, he came in to close out the 10th inning, and he looked very good. A ton of uncomfortable swings from the Bulldogs, so I'm curious to see how they'll adjust today.
And that's a very comfortable-looking swing, and it will drop in for a single. First pitch for Meadows. He'll give up a single to Andrew Walker.
Now, Walker kind of maybe a little out in front of that one. It looked to be on the outer half of the plate, just kind of lunged at it, hit off the end of the bat, but Walker strong enough that he's able to kind of bloop it into center field, and all of a sudden, Bulldogs got the leadoff guy on.
As Pope gonna pull back a little bit there, keep it off the hands.
You know, Pope's had a pair of long at-bats in this one, so I'm expecting to see the same. A lot of discipline, patient plate approach here.
He's going to foul this one back. Took a nice angle. It's not going to hit anyone's windshield over there.
And maybe someone on the highway, maybe. With US 23 directly behind Nicolay Field here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be unfortunate? Not even parked at the ballpark and you still catch a baseball with your windshield.
I've seen it happen.
This one will skip in for ball 2. 2-1 count.
Again, Walker over there, the runner on first, pretty much no speed on him, so it's going to take really a ball going to the backstop if he's able to make it to second, and a ball to the wall for him to score from first.
That's going to be in there for ball 3. It's got to feel good for the Bulldogs, even when you have a slower base runner like Walker over there on first. He's able to take a little bit of a longer lead just because it's a righty on the mound. That's going to be strike 2 looking.
It's a good take from Pope there. And a 3-1 count. Looked like the sinker that kind of barely caught that outside corner. If Pope takes a rip at that, there's in all likelihood he's putting that thing on the ground for a double play here.
Yeah, and with 0 out, double play, last thing you want right now. So he's going to hack at this one. It's going to get over there. Not enough legs for the highway. It'll land on the hill over there by the Bulldog bullpen.
It's a good defensive swing by Pope there. Actually a pretty good pitch to hit, but at least he's able to foul it off and buy himself another one here.
As he's going to slap this one down, and it will get into the outfield for a single. Runners hold at first and second. And Meadows comes in. You said he played good at the 10th yesterday. Well, he comes in and gives up 2 hits right away.
Now, if you tuned into the broadcast yesterday, you saw the gutsy decision by Josh Knorr to run a suicide squeeze to try to win the game. Here, first and second, nobody out. In a tied ball game, getting into the later innings. Would not be surprised if we see Harris drop one down here. Infielders, the corner infielders, way in on the grass expecting it.
Especially at first base there. That's exactly what we're going to have. And the only play is at first, and if Harris has a little bit more wheels on him, I think he was expecting to be out all the way through. He didn't even attempt to get on his horse and beat it out.
Just a great job by Harris there. Wasn't the greatest bunt in the world, but I'm sure Josh Knorr is going to be happy with it. Got a great pitch to bunt on. The first baseman Sachs over there looked to third, so he didn't have a play. Turns around, gets Harris at first base. Now the Bulldogs are set up with second and third and only 1 out.
Something to the outfield would usually score your man from third, but as you mentioned, Walker, not the fastest player in the world, so you'd like it to be a little bit further into the outfield for him to tag.
I'm a little surprised we're not seeing a pinch runner here for Walker. Not a lot of speed over there. The Wolverine infield is playing up on the edge of the grass here, so anything hit to the infield, they're going to be coming home with it.
Is this one knocked? And it's going to get down. It'll be a single, but RBI single at that.
Great unselfish at bat there by Carson Meister. Kind of got a breaking ball outside. He was out in front. He rolled it over, but with the infield back, the shortstop for the Wolverines, Shilp, had to dive for it, so he didn't have a play at home. Flips it over to first, gets the out. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here. For Ty Perrin, it's going to be Javier Rosa Franco.
Yeah, I said RBI single, not an RBI single at all. An easy out for him, but RBI nonetheless.
Good stop by Martin there. Again, Luke Pope at third. Not a lot of speed, but if that ball gets by, Pope's in all likelihood going to score right there.
So that's going to be strike 1, so 1-1 count.
Franco had a lot of long at-bats yesterday, fouled away pitches, took a couple walks in the game, but the Bulldogs want to see him get a hit here.
And that's going to get over the second baseman. So there's the RBI single I had mentioned. I was just one player early. I was looking into the future.
Just a good piece of hitting there by Rosa. The pitch before, pretty much in the same spot, kept the bat on his shoulder, watched to go by. Meadows tried to go back to the same spot, but Rosa all over it, finds a barrel, punches it over the second baseman. Arnett gets himself an RBI. Bulldogs have a 2-run lead now here in the bottom of the 6th.
So Tyler Hall going to slap this one. An easy out at second. Rosa Franco slides in, but Wolverines able to retire, giving up 2 runs, sitting at 5-3 in favor of the Bulldogs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
10 years ago, Adrian College Television set out on a mission to bring the excitement, the passion, and the unforgettable moments of Bulldog athletics to fans everywhere. From the field to the court, from nail-biting finishes to championship victories, ACTV has been there to capture it all.
Yeah, Jordan Spear. Happy birthday, buddy. I'm sure.
This year, we celebrate a decade of dedication, 10 years of innovation, teamwork, and delivering the energy of Adrian College straight to your screen. Here's to the next chapter of ACTV, because at Adrian College, the story is just beginning.
And we're back for the top of the 7th. Hale still out there despite giving up the 1 run in the last 2 innings.
You know, even the run that came in to score last inning, it's tough to say that it's not his fault, but he's the one that made the initial error. It was an unfortunate situation, but hasn't really given up hard contact in a while. Pitch count only at 77. In all likelihood, this will be his last inning as Hicks has sat down. I'd imagine we see him start throwing. Looks like we got a pair of Bulldogs heading down to the bullpen right now. Just getting loose in case anything happens. It's a tight ball game in the later innings. This Michigan team can swing it. They've scored a ton of runs so far in this series. If I'm not mistaken, it's 22 over the last 2 games. So this team can swing it, and head coach Josh Knorr trying to get ahead of that curve.
As the first ball is in for a ball. Hale sends this one in for a hit. Leyva able to throw it over there, but it's going to be safe. Beating it out is going to be number 22, Robert Shilp.
Yeah, that's going to go as an error on Leyva there. The ball was not hit hard. Instead of charging it, Leyva just kind of sits back, makes a pretty weak throw over to first base that pulls Pope off the bag. But even with the good throw that keeps him on the bag, with a lot of speed with Shilp, I'm not sure Leyva would have gotten him there.
As Shilp stays in a little bit closer. Doesn't look to be scared of Hale, though, longer into this game. Hale hasn't really made any pickoff attempts since that one he had successful earlier. So he delivers. It's going to be high for ball 2.
Sachs, of course, last time up, laced that double into the left center gap. So I'm sure that's in the back of the mind of Hales that was on an outside pitch. So if you're the Harrison-Hale tandem here, might be looking to bust him inside here.
And there's an outside pitch. Just to spite you, Hale decided to go outside there.
Typically, lefties want the ball inside, so it does make sense you're going away here, trying to get him to roll over, force double play, as Sachs not a very strong runner.
This one going to be knocked down. Going for 2. Leyva on the transfer drops it. It's going to be an out at second with a lot of argument from the bullpen over there.
Oh, come on, Wolverines. That's about as obvious of a transfer call as you're going to get. Ball clearly received by Leyva, and the transfer was almost completed. It's not like it was dropped as it was going into his hand. The ball touched Leyva's throwing hand as the feet were moving. Clearly, this should be an out at second base here.
And interestingly enough, the player coach for the Wolverines today is Meadows, and he's also the pitcher. So he's the player coming out to argue, as it will be an out at second.
Yeah, I almost spoke the 4-6-3 into existence there, but Sachs pretty good getting down the line there. Even if the transfer's completed at short, not sure Leyva would have got him, as Meister kind of took a while to get that ball to second base. But in the cold weather, you're going to take an out no matter how you can get it.
Yeah, Self is up to bat now. And Sachs keeping his lead close. Self going to knock it over to third. Rifled to first just late. He's going to be safe over at first.
It's going to be an infield hit. It's actually Isaac Jermu coming into the game at third and replacing Walker. It's a tough play. Ball not hit hard down the line. Jermu fields it on the backhand. Maybe in the summertime you get a little bit more on the throw. You're going to get him there, but just unable to get him. But it's going to go as an infield single.
Catcher Martin up to bat with 2 on, 1 out. That's going to be strike 1 looking. So Rosa Franco, who pinch hit in the last inning, is out and left.
Looking around, everything else seems the same here. You know, even with base runners this inning, you can't fault Hale for it. He's gotten ground balls, just the guys behind him not really making the plays for him. So hopefully that can turn around here. Bulldogs might be able to turn 2 here.
As it's slapped out to center and didn't really move at all there to make that play.
Right to Tyler Hall out in center. You know, that ball again from Hale got a lot of plate. It was a good swing by Martin. Pretty much hit it on the screws, maybe a little bit closer to the end of the bat, but put a good swing on it. Hit it hard, but unfortunately, there's a guy out there.
So that's 2 down so far for Hale.
I'd have to imagine this is probably the last batter of the game for Hale, regardless of what happens.
It's going to be strike 1 swinging for Deskins. Harris does a good job sliding over there.
Josh Knorr kind of playing with that alignment right now, particularly in right field with Connor Davies kind of moving around. But that right center gap is wide open for Deskins. Even a ground ball could be going all the way to the wall.
You wonder if Deskins is typically a pull hitter, as he's going to push this one, and it's foul. Right as I was getting ready to say he might be a pull hitter.
You know, I don't love the pitch call there. Harris was set up outside, and I like the idea of a fastball there, but outside corner, if you're going to move your fielders and kind of give up the right center gap, it doesn't make sense to pitch away. You want to pitch to the alignment that's behind you as a pitcher, and in this scenario, it's going to be pitching inside. Harris sets up outside again.
And it's going to be a steal attempt, double steal attempt. That ball's kicked into foul territory, and a run will score. Gets picked up by Leyva. Unable to make the play was Jermu.
It's unfortunately not really an error on Harris per se, but technically and officially it is going to go as an E2, as he put the throw pretty close to where it needed to be, but unfortunately ball and the runner arrived at the same time, and the sliding self just kind of kicked it away, and it's going to allow him to score here.
Harris winds and throws, and that's going to be fouled over to someone's car. It's a 1-2 count. Looking to deliver to Deskins. Throws this one. It's going to be a chopper over to the Bulldogs bullpen.
Ultra defensive swing there from Deskins. It was a great curveball by Hale. Kind of started an outside corner at the knees, broke in towards the middle, but Deskins able to just get a piece of that and buy himself another pitch here and an RBI opportunity.
Deskins could tie it up here with anything out of the infield that gets on the ground. That's going to be hit right to Leyva. Fires over to first. We'll have ourselves a 6-3. Only 1 run given up for the Bulldogs as they get out of the top of the 7th.
It's 5-4 Bulldogs. We've played 6.5. It's stretch time here at the Nick. We'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Club Baseball on Adrian.
Bulldog fans, welcome to the home of Adrian College Athletics. Brought to you by Adrian College Television. Follow us on social media to be connected to the latest broadcasts, news, highlights, and more. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. ACTV's social media handle is at Adrian College TV on all platforms. Thank you to all of our fans who tune in to support us at ACTV.
Welcome back here on ACTV. And don't forget that we got a spring concert coming up. You don't want to miss it. It's Cameron Marlowe live at Adrian College on March 21st as part of his Keeping the Lights On tour. General admission tickets are just $50 and AC students get in free. Grab yours today at adriancollege.hometownticketing.com. Let's fill the house and keep the music going. That's March 21st. Cameron Marlowe at Adrian.
Little surprised to see Meadows out for his second inning of work here. Not that he pitched that bad last inning, but the Bulldogs looked pretty comfortable in the box against him. He allowed 2 runs. So again, little surprised that he's back out for another inning here.
Well, at the end of the day, I think he's also the player coach, so he's making those decisions for himself as he'll throw strike 1.
You would be correct, Sean.
So, at the end of the day, if he feels like he can go another inning, he's going to give it to himself. Be interesting to see who comes in for him and if anyone does, as Meadows throws strike 2.
Great deception there from Meadows. Kind of started his windup and just kind of stood there for a second, kind of messed with the timing of Leyva, and then blows a fastball right by him.
Tries it again. This time it's going to skip into Martin's glove for a ball. 1-2 count.
Last time Leyva was up, he punched a fastball into right field, so in a 1-2 count here, I got to imagine we see a breaking ball down and away here.
And it's going to be knocked over into foul territory and off the roof of the pavilion over there and just outside the fence.
Looks like Leyva and Meadows kind of exchanged glances as he returns to the batter's box. He kind of ran that one out a little bit. But again, Meadows went with the fastball there. He beats Leyva, but not quite enough to get the swing and miss. Leyva fortunate to get enough of it to kind of punch it into foul territory and buy himself another one here.
Meadows going to skip this one in as well. Martin blocks it up, and Meadows can't handle the throwback. It'll roll over to the shortstop.
Now, that's such an important take there for Leyva, laying off the breaking ball in the dirt, as I'd have to imagine he just bought himself a fastball there. Meadows has proved that he can beat Leyva on the fastball, so I think he goes to it here.
And it's going to be rung up is Leyva. Coming up now, still with the sunglasses on, is Connor Davies. Refuses to take them off, and I haven't seen the sun even peek through the clouds today.
I mean, if he's going to hit another RBI triple, I think I'm okay with it.
You know, maybe it's just part of his ritual. Baseball players can be superstitious at times, and if it's just something that he does before every game and during every game, maybe it's just more comfortable for him to see the ball that way, as he'll take the first 2 for balls. Strike 1 looking.
It's a good take there for Davies. 2-0, sinker fading away from him on the outside corner. That's just not one you're going to take a rip at. That's rollover city right there.
He's going to foul this one back. So 2-2 count.
Now here's the problem for Davies here is Meadows can pretty much throw whatever he wants here.
The delivery is skipped off the ground. Didn't even get to the brown turf. Skipped off the green.
Now I'm going to make a bold prediction here and say that Meadows was not trying to bounce that one into the strike zone because it's not cricket season yet.
No, but Meadows might be a superstar in that sport as he'll walk Davies and seemed quite confused on why it was a walk, although almost hit Davies in the knee.
That was down and in, so Meadows did it last night. He's certainly a character out there.
As Corwin Allen comes in. Pitch almost in the exact same spot as that ball 4 last at bat.
we've seen Martin have trouble kind of catching the ball for Meadows here. So anything that gets away from him, even a little bit, Davies has got to get ready to try to take that extra base, as getting an insurance run late in this game is going to be huge for the Bulldogs.
Have to imagine Allen is going to swing for the fences when he gets the chance, as glove comes off of the third baseman. Donovan Self, yeah.
I got you covered, Sean. Don't worry.
Yeah, didn't have that one ready yet.
I had the luxury of watching these guys yesterday, so I got a pretty good grasp of where everyone's at.
Meadows taking his time just to skip one in under Martin.
That's what I'm talking about right there, the importance of the secondary lead. Martin knocked it down but couldn't find it right away. If Davies is heads up there and gets a big secondary lead, he can attempt to take second base there.
Which it's curious why he's not taking a little bit of a longer lead, considering how long Meadows is taking before he's even starting his windup. As Meadows shakes off the secondary player coach and sends him back to the dugout.
Now, the player-coach dynamic is certainly there. At the end of the day, it's Meadows' call as he wants to come in or not, but pitch count's getting up there. He's walked back-to-back Bulldogs and now has to deal with Isaac Jermu.
That one's going to land on the roof here. So, foul ball for Jermu.
Oh, Jermu, great hitter for the season, has a 909 OPS so far for the Bulldogs. He's definitely been one of the bright spots in this lineup.
As that's going to be a strike. It was caught in the other batter's box.
Oh, a little generous call for Meadows.
As 0-2 count. That one's going to be the first ball of the at-bat, and runners will take their bases.
Now the runners moving up to second and third is going to completely change this at bat for Jermu. Before it was, hey, I have to try to get a base hit into the outfield. But now Wolverine's been the infield in. They have to cut down Davies at the plate here. If Jermu's able to hit one to the outfield, it's going to be a run for the Bulldogs.
Like to still get that hit and get both runners across. He'll tip that one in. Martin will catch it.
Not what you want to see there for the Bulldogs. You know, you bring in the pinch hitter that he's going to boost that offense a little bit. Goes down swinging with runners in scoring position. And now it's going to be up to Luke Pope to try to get a base hit here to score a couple of Bulldogs.
As Pope awaits the first, and he'll swing and miss.
I mean, that's a sharp sinker that Meadows is throwing. You can see the action from it from here. And at the last second, it's just taking a sharp turn down and away from lefties. And that's the same pitch he got Jermu on. I mean, that sinker starts on the chalk, finishes middle of the plate and about 4 inches from where it lands. It's a nasty pitch. It's definitely tough to barrel up for these Bulldogs.
Yeah, and Pope doesn't have the same luxury that Jermu had, as Jermu was able to just, send a fly ball out there and it would potentially score a runner. Pope has to get a hit in order to get a runner across.
I mean, look at how shallow those outfielders are. Anything hit to the outfield, and they're going to be gunning down Allen at the plate.
And it's curious because at left field a little bit deeper, but then center and right playing real shallow.
Yeah, a little surprised. The left fielder, Allen, playing so deep. He's taking a few steps in now.
Right after you said something, he retreated back. He's just walking circles out there.
Looks like some of the Bulldogs in the bullpen having a friendly conversation with him, I'm sure.
Trying to get into the head of the defender out there. That's going to be...
And it was a check swing from Pope. It looked like it was a strike. It looked like he
went around.
There's
going to be the strike signal.
They're going to say he went around. So the Bulldogs, they're going to leave runners on base here. They come up empty here in the 7th inning. 5-4 Bulldogs. We played 7 here at Nicolay Field. We'll be back for the top of the 8th inning. You're watching Club Baseball.
10 years ago, Adrian College Television set out on a mission to bring the excitement, the passion, and the unforgettable moments of Bulldog athletics to fans everywhere. From the field to the court, from nail-biting finishes to championship victories, ACTV has been there to capture it all.
Yeah, Jordan Spear. Happy birthday, buddy. I'm sure.
This year, we celebrate a decade of dedication, 10 years of innovation, teamwork, and delivering the energy of Adrian College straight to your screen. Here's to the next chapter of ACTV, because at Adrian College, the story is just beginning.
Hello and welcome back as we prepare for the top of the 8th. We got some interesting stories developing.
Now, for me, Michael Hale coming out to pitch the 8th inning is a little puzzling to me. He's at 90 pitches for the game. The command has been starting to slip away from him. More and more base runners going deeper into counts, a lot more barrels. But maybe even more surprising, looking down at the bullpen, there's no Bulldogs throwing. So it's one thing to leave a guy out there but have someone ready. I mean, in all likelihood, if Hale has to come out of the game this inning, the Bulldogs are going to bring in a cold reliever.
Hale facing off against Hartman, and that's going to be a strike. It looks to be a pretty wide zone here as of late.
Yeah, that typically happens in a baseball game as the day goes on. You know, a lot of umpire fatigue sets in. You're going to see more and more pitches being called strikes that were originally balls.
And that has been a common thing out there for Tyler Hall, as makes another routine catch on the fly ball.
It's been busy out there. That's his 4th putout of the game. Most among Bulldog outfielders today.
Arnett going to take the first pitch outside, so that's ball 1.
I like the idea of starting Arnett with a slider there. Unfortunately, just kind of led it a little bit too far glove side. It's going to result in ball 1.
Right down the middle for strike 1, so 1-1 count.
It's a great fastball at the D's there. Great receiving job there by Harris. Haven't really mentioned him too much. He's been pretty quiet back there. That was a good job to stick that one and pull it into the strike zone.
That's going to be knocked right into Leyva. Great job scooping it. Fires it over to first for the out. So 2 down. We questioned how good Hale would be coming into this inning. He's 2 up, 2 down so far.
You know, that play might look easy from Leyva there, but that was a fastball at the top of the zone that Arnett just hit the top of. That thing had some crazy topspin coming in, almost like a Merry Christmas gift to Leyva as he kind of just sticks the glove down, ball finds it, able to make a strong throw to first for the second out.
Hale going to throw strike 1.
Now looking down to the bullpen, it's still Colton Hicks. He's been down there for a while. He's starting to throw again.
This one's going to skip in. Harris able to cover it. If I'm not mistaken, Angles hasn't done too much yet in this one.
Angles is 0 for 3 on the day with a strikeout, pair of groundouts. So not necessarily the biggest offensive threat, but if you're Hale, this is pretty much a must retire here.
Don't want to go into the top of the order in this inning. Like to retire Angles here. This one knocked over to Leyva. Throw it over, and there we go for the 6-3 out. That'll do it. Bulldogs retire the side, and you're watching ACTV. We'll be back for the bottom of the 8th with the Bulldogs. Hello and welcome back. So, Meadows yet to pull himself. And right before the cameras came back, Meadows over there talking to the ump. It sounded like he said something about 17, which would be Jesse Leyva. So curious if Meadows is trying to plead as if he's the coach, talking about Leyva having maybe legal piece of equipment or something along those lines.
Not exactly sure what it is. Typically, if you have in this case, Meadows is a coach, so in this scenario, typically you're making a sub, but it didn't really sound and look like it was a sub being made, so like you said, maybe Leyva's got something going on. Oh, no, it is going to be a sub. It's going to be a new catcher in the game, Costello for the Wolverines, so ignore everything I just said for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, it looked like he was talking about the Bulldogs bench area because he kept walking over, pointing at the Bulldogs bench. Might have been just trying to get the umpire's eyes on him.
Well, typically when you're making a sub, you just a coach will just walk over there between innings. It's a very subtle thing. But I guess since Meadows is in the game for his third inning of work at over 40 pitches, that he just kind of had to quickly do it. Just a weird situation here.
So Meadows yet to pull himself. He'll deliver this one, and that's going to be ball one.
Look at the Bulldog bench. Everyone up on the top railing, engaged with every pitch. I mean, we saw it late in the game last night, so it's good to see it here with the Bulldogs winning this one here in the 8th.
That might be the first time the bat's left Harris's shoulders. And it's going to be for a strike.
Drew a pair of walks with a sac bunt, so yet to officially record an at-bat in this one as he is 0 for 0 with a run scored in this one.
And he's going to keep working these balls as he gets to a 2-2 count. Just foul tip this one right back.
Now, I've talked about A swings in this one. That one wasn't even a B swing. That was a C swing. That was, oh God, I got to foul this thing off. Throws the hands, buys another one.
So he'll watch that one through. He's had a good eye today, as you mentioned, the 2 walks earlier. And then the sac bunt, which the sac bunt was just I'm going to throw my bat at this if it comes down to it. He almost does the same thing there, essentially threw his bat at that one. He'll take first on the single.
Now, how about Damon Harris? Starting off the spring season hot, went 2 for 3 in the ball game yesterday. Here gets a knock here. He's 1 for 1 on the day with a pair of walks. Now, if you're getting any sort of offense from the catcher position, that's a big thing for your team. And Harris is starting off hot in the spring here.
Yeah, even just being patient, and that's what he's done to get his offense to work.
And so Harris, the catcher, comes out for a courtesy runner. That's Nathan Linder over there at first base. Fellow crew member of Adrian College TV.
Yeah. Now, they were showing bunt on that last pitch, pulled it back. Let's see if they show again.
Well, Meister hasn't had a ton of success in the batter's box, so kind of makes sense. Does have an RBI and a run scored today, but in terms of just solid contact, just hasn't really been there over the last 2 days for Meister. So I don't hate the decision for Knorr to kind of have him move a runner up.
He's showing that bunt at the perfect time. It seems to be throwing Meadows off a little bit.
Well, Meadows, I mean, that was his 52nd pitch of the ball game, also through yesterday, so I got to imagine some fatigue setting in for Meadows.
As that's a bunt laid down foul. Linder, I don't think he ever looked back. He was going as fast as he could.
I think if you really want to get that man in a scoring position here, which I'm sure Josh Knorr does, I think a hit and run's kind of the play here.
Yeah, 2 strikes. You definitely don't want to bunt it foul as he lays down the bunt almost perfectly.
Wow, gutsy decision. I'm not sure if that was a sign that Josh Knorr gave, but with 2 strikes, Carson Meister gets the bunt down. It's going to move Linder to second. And now with Javier Rosa Franco up, Bulldogs once again in an RBI opportunity in the late innings.
Now, let's not forget, some people not as familiar with the great game here of baseball. So a foul on strike 2, you're at bat. A foul off of a bunt on strike 2, you're out. That's why we were saying we didn't think that he was going to bunt there, but
it is rare that you will see someone bunt with 2 strikes. Look at Linder on second, kind of relaying to Franco where these pitches are going to be. Looking at where Costello's setting up. A high IQ play there by Nate Linder.
And you just said, relaying where the pitch is going to be. People are going to instantly go to the Astros when they had all that controversy happen. It's legal for the person on the base paths. It's illegal if someone in the dugout is sitting over there banging trash cans.
We have a ball come on the field, I believe, from the bullpen, which the bullpen fence is about 9 to 10 feet tall here at the Nick. So I'd have to imagine it went off the bullpen catcher's glove and made it right into play here.
Yeah, I didn't see what was happening. I just seen Knorr run up and kind of make a scene like, hey, don't throw it.
That's going to be a first for me in my time so far here at Nicolay Field. Baseball's a great game. You see something new every single time you come to the ballpark.
As Lindner signals, Rosa Franco still swings at it.
Now, Javier was right on time with that pitch, but just missed it by about a foot as he kind of flew that shoulder open on the outside sinker there. So if he wants to have success here, he's got to keep that shoulder in, maybe look to hit something the other way here.
As that's going to be right up the middle, and it won't get down. A diving catch from the shortstop to put Rosa Franco away.
What a play by Robert Schilp. We saw great defensive plays from him yesterday, even a couple in this one, but none better than what we saw there. It was off the end of the bat of Franco Rosa. Schilp had a great beat on it, went full extension Superman dive to take a hit away from Javier Rosa Franco.
That's going to be back into the stands, and it came back down.
Now with Tyler Hall up today, he is 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch, has scored a run, but yesterday had that major RBI triple that tied the game for the Bulldogs late. So if he can add it on an insurance run here for the Bulldogs, it would be huge.
As he'll swing and miss at the low pitch from Meadows. We mentioned Meadows, the player coach, also pitching. I'll be curious if he gives himself the 9th inning as well.
That is if it's needed. The Bulldogs will not on this lead. It's over.
That's going to skip past. Lindner will take third. And he'll stay put. Almost forgot Lindner was out there as a base runner.
A lot of speed in the batter's box here with Hall. I know the Wolverine defense has been very good the entire series, but just putting something in play here to try to force an error or maybe leg one out is just absolutely crucial for the Bulldogs here as they look to add on an insurance run here in the 8th.
That's going to be high, 2-2 count.
Look at Linder at third getting huge off the secondary lead. Anything that squirts away is going to score.
And I think Hale is done. He's up on the fence now with the hoodie on and towel over his head. That's going to be knocked into center. So the center fielder flies out to the center fielder. And that'll do it for the Bulldogs in the top of the 9th. We'll see you for the bottom of the 9th. Bulldogs up 5-4. Don't go anywhere.
You stand today, students, on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth, introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time that you will always look back on as special years. Never experienced before you arrive today and never replicated after you graduate.
Hello and welcome back here on ACTV. My name is Sean Whitmer, joined with Remy, and I'm just going to stop trying to say your last name at this point. I'll get it one of these times. We have a pitching change for the Bulldogs.
And the pitching change is going to be Colton Hicks, typically a starter, but with light pitching for the Bulldogs, he's going to come in to close this one out. And with all honesty, he's had his struggles this season. Only pitched 5.2 innings so far this season, and he has pitched to a 6.35 ERA and a 2.12 whip. So he's hoping to kind of correct his stats in this one, but more importantly, close out this game for the Bulldogs. However, he is going to have quite the challenge as he's going to face 1, 2, 3 in this Wolverine lineup. Cole Allen, Robert Shilp, and Jeremy Sachs.
Well, you mentioned he's usually a starter, so facing 1, 2, 3, something he's comfortable doing. As it's first pitch strike.
Be curious to see if Hicks kind of has an uptick in velocity from what we saw yesterday.
This one's going to be sent out to center field. Hall tracks it well, and he'll get the first out of the inning.
A huge out number one here, protecting a one-run lead. You know, a lot of things change if the leadoff man gets on, especially someone with as much speed as Cole Allen. I cannot express how important out number one is in a situation like this.
Shilp will take the first pitch inside.
The attempt at a changeup there from Hicks, but just kind of pushed it and babied it in there and didn't even offer a breath from Shilp.
Hicks sends this one in for a strike, so it's a 1-1 count.
Not sure I love pitching up in the zone here. Hicks, not known for his velocity, more of his command and movement on his pitches. He's going to want to keep the ball down if he's going to have success in this outing here.
He delivers. And that's going to be a swinging miss for strike 2.
That is what you call pulling the string there. That changeup looked to be about 38 miles an hour, and Shilp way out in front of it.
Hicks delivers. It's going to be poked out foul. And well out there. Landed directly into a puddle. That's what the Bulldog dugout was.
These are the things that baseball players find interesting, and, well, I love my boys for it. If you're Hicks here, you got to bounce a curveball in, try to get a swing and miss. Shilp's in automatic protect mode. Even if he doesn't swing and miss, if you can bury a curveball here, at best, Shilp is going to roll something over to the left side. Set up away.
Hicks goes into a stretch, going to send this one foul, and that's going to be strike 2. Still a 1-2 count.
Don't love the idea of throwing a fastball on that last pitch. I think if you're going to get Shilp out here, it's going to be with the breaking ball, and I think that's what Hicks is throwing here.
That's going to be fouled. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like the rain is coming down right now.
And it's very light drizzle right now. It's been cloudy all day, but finally starting to come down. It's not too much rain at all. Definitely something you can play through and even pitch through. So it really should not affect Hicks too much in this one.
No, and it's definitely not going to get to a point like we had yesterday with the hour delay as Shilp stays alive. Another foul ball.
Now, I cannot believe that Hicks is throwing fastballs to Shilp right now. If you see a guy that early on a changeup and even just threw the fastball and he was way early on it again, there is no reason to slow down the bat of Shilp here. You need to keep pounding the off-speed stuff down in the dirt.
Yeah, not only that, you don't want a ball in play necessarily as this is sent out. Hall right to him. But the Bulldogs have 5 errors coming into this inning. The last 2 pitches have gone out to Hall, so not much to worry about there. The errors haven't been made in the outfield. They've all been infield errors.
Now, Bulldog bench, everyone on their feet. Clapping gets in, moving the outfield around as the Bulldogs 1 out away from stealing Game 3 in this 3-game set against the Wolverines and avoiding the sweep.
And Sachs is the man that the Wolverines are going to rely on in this spot. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know you do, Remy. What's he looking at on the day so far?
On the day, he is 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Of course, back in the 5th, had that RBI double to left center. That was really a key moment for the Wolverine offense. But then the Bulldogs come right back and score some runs of their own.
As we're sitting at a 1-1 count. An out here will end the game. As this is going to be slapped over there, foul.
Similar to the last at bat, this, if you're going to throw an off-speed pitch, you have to bury it. If it's up in the zone, Sachs with a lot of power will take one for a ride. He's not super far up in the box, which is surprising to me, but you have to bury something here if you're Hicks.
Yeah, and Sachs going to slap this one, fouls, just about same spot. Went a little bit further, but he's pushing the ball right now, is Sachs.
Very, very uncomfortable swings, clearly not picking up Hicks very well. You just do the fastball in the outside corner. If you're able to play the slider, the curveball off of that fastball tunnel, I think you can get a swing and a miss here from Sachs.
This pitch is going to be in the dirt.
I like that pitch from Hicks there. Mentioned the tunnel right there. Hicks threw the curveball into that tunnel. Maybe just a little bit too low there. Couldn't bait Sachs into chasing that one.
So 2-2 count, 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Hicks delivers. And that's going to be fouled down the line. It pulls back fair. Sachs will leg it out.
Wow. A little nubber off the end of the bat. Sachs was way out in front. Basically hit it off the cap. Starts about 10 feet foul. And with Jermu playing all the way back with 2 outs, unable to get to it before it comes back fair, all of a sudden, the Wolverines have the tying run on first, winning run in the batter's box.
Well, it'd be leading run in the batter's box. Bulldogs would still get themselves a chance. Self awaits the pitch from Hicks. It's a lefty-righty matchup, and he'll watch the first come through.
Very, very surprised we're not seeing a pinch runner for Sachs here. Not the worst runner in the world, but I'm sure this is a deep Michigan Wolverines roster. I'm surprised we're not seeing someone with more speed in case Self's able to launch one into the gap or down the line here.
Well, outside of catcher, Meadows has not made any changes today for the Wolverines. He brought himself in at one time, and he changed to Costello at catcher, which might have just been a situation of that's who he prefers throwing to. Time is called.
Smart move by Self there, quickly behind 0-2. Pressure mounting. You don't want to be the guy that ends the game for your team, especially when the tying run's on base.
Sachs staying close. Hicks checking first. Delivers. That's going to be a ball in the ground. Harris will chase it down. Unable to keep it in front of him, so Sachs will take second.
You know, in a situation like this, that's a ball that Harris has got to drop down to the knees and get in front of that one. He just tries to hit it with a backhand pick, but unfortunately kind of goes off the heel of the glove, shoots to the right. All of a sudden, tying run, now in scoring position.
So it's a 1-2 count. That timeout by Self, as crucial as it could have been. Ball on the next pitch that moved a runner over.
It's going to take the outfielders out of no doubles now, as with the runner on first base, they were in no doubles, trying to prevent anything over their heads or into the gap for extra bases. But now with the runner in scoring position, you need to come in case a ball's hit, that you have a chance to throw Sachs out at the plate.
First 2 outs were flied to center, as this is going to be ball 2.
Not a bad pitch there from Hicks. If you're going to miss up with the fastball, you're going to want to miss up in the zone. Otherwise, the big, powerful 4-hitter Self might take one for a ride.
Self awaits the offering. Hicks throws, and that's going to be slapped foul. Waiting to hear the crash. I think we're a little too far away for that, but
in the cinder block press box here and with the headphones on, the odds you're going to hear that are pretty slim.
It'd be fun to hear, though. A Self back in the box.
Harris
Hicks
is
gets
set
ready.
up Harris is set up outside.
And that's going to be high. So it's a 3-2 count.
Costello on deck here. If you were to walk Self, it's not ideal as that puts the go-ahead run on base. But I'd rather see a walk here than a cookie down the middle to the four-hitter.
And especially when you got the third catcher coming in and you'd get a force out at every base at that point. Not the worst thing in the world if Hicks decides to go outside and see if he can get Self to chase. As that's going to be slapped high, camped underneath, and that's going to be the out that ends the game. The Bulldogs will win. So 2-1 series against the Wolverines. Bulldogs take game 3 with Hale on the start and Hicks to clean it all up.
What a total team effort from the Bulldogs today. Hale with a great effort to start the game for the Bulldogs, pitching 8 very strong innings for the Bulldogs. Final line score for him was 8 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, only 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and then Hicks comes in for 1 inning and just pitches a clean inning for the Bulldogs. As for the Wolverines, it was Mitchell Fuchs who's going to take the loss in this one. Went 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. And then Trey Meadows contributed 3 innings with 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Some key highlights for the Bulldog offense today. It was Jesse Leyva who really got the offense going in the 5th inning with that 2 RBI single. That was then followed up by Connor Davies, launching an RBI triple into the gap. Later on, it was a Carson Meister RBI groundout, followed by a Ty Perrin, a Javier Franco Rosa RBI single. That was all scoring for the Bulldogs. 5 runs was enough to get it done. The pitching held up. Timely hitting came through. A great team effort from the Bulldogs today.
So real quick before we go, one last thing I want to ask you before we close out on this game. If you had to give a player of the game for the Bulldogs, who are you giving it to?
For me, it's going to be Michael Hale. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. The Bulldogs came into this one very thin on pitching. We said they needed to get length out of Hale, and that's exactly what happened. He was very efficient through 8 innings, only 99 pitches for the game, 1 earned run allowed. Really not a ton of hard contact. For the most part, plays were made behind him. Very strong effort for Michael Hale. He would be my player of the game.
Couldn't agree with you more. The only player I think would really compete with him, so to speak, would be Damon Harris. Played well behind the dish, but also he gets the 2 walks, he gets the 1 hit, he gets the sack bunt. Altogether, he went 1 for 1 on the day with 4 plate appearances, and he wasn't awful playing defensive as the catcher. When you can get offense from your catcher position, it's just so important. But I do agree Hale is ultimately the player of the game.
So that's going to do it from Nicolay Field here at Adrian College. Bulldogs take game 3 of this 3-game set against the Wolverines, 5-4. I have been Remington Gilniak alongside Sean Whitmer. It's been a blast here from the Nick all weekend long. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week for more Adrian College Club baseball. So long, everyone.